Welcome to Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, August the 18th, 2020. I'm astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Make sure that you check out highvibe.tv and make sure that you subscribe. But also at the same time, make sure you check out Battle of the Gods. This is my awesome 4-hour plus horoscope video about this major Mars transit that we're about to go through, the retrograde, and of course, these big squares of Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto. This is going to be a very intense next 3 months, and I am here to prepare you for it all. Make sure that you get it on the mothership, highvibe.tv, and of course, on the apps down below or the website. You can, of course, then watch it on those spaceships. Well, today is the new moon in Leo. Woo! 26 degrees of Leo. We got Mercury at the same time that just passed the sun, and this is a very Leonine day. This is also a new moon, the closest it has been to the solar eclipse that happened in August of, that was the 21st of 2017. So what a, basically 3 years it has been since you have definitely had to go directly into finding where your heart truly stands and had to go through lots of broken pieces with the lunar eclipse cycle with Mars Retrograde that happened in 2018 and 2019, trying to just get through life, including into just this 2020 with South Node Saturn and all these planets in Capricorn. This new moon in Leo is here to offer us a reminder that we have been through a long journey to find the heart, to find the true essence of our happiness, of our true self, though, at the core. With the weird quincunx to Saturn in Capricorn today, it is the responsibility for us to actually start to make choices in our life that feel in alignment with our heart and actually take the responsibility to not make choices in our long-term goals that do not. It's time for us to, though, make sure that we do take the observation to look at our destiny, to take the time to process from a space of that and really ask ourselves, where are we not holding the responsibilities that we know we can? And where are we holding the responsibilities that we know we shouldn't? I think that it's quite a powerful new moon with the fact that the nodes at 27 degrees of Gemini and in Sag are in exact sextile to this. This is a new moon that is not just normal, since of course there is these positive aspects to the nodes in our destiny that is directed towards with Mercury at the same time and sextile to the North Node in Gemini, which the North Node in Gemini is, of course, a very mercurial energy, and Mercury is in Leo and a best friend to Gemini, that this is a figuring out. Instead of us sitting in the wonder, instead of us sitting in the beliefs or the hopes, we know from a standpoint of the factual energy of what is true to us, what is true from the facts that you can see through your own scope of your own heart, from the divine heart. And then I think that it's very important to note that Mars in Aries is on top of the planet Eris. That we don't have to go through chaos if we are truly living in our truth. And that Mars is enshrined to this new moon. It's time to take bold action in our lives when it comes to the things that truly bring us our happiness, the things that truly bring us the identification of who we are and what we truly want in our lives, defined by what we have learned over the last 3 years. And the last 3 years has brought you into the highs and the lows of where your heart is. And it's time to fill both those energies into the truth of that it's not so much of a high or not so much of a low, but the completion element of understanding where the highs are, where the lows are, and to take on the responsibilities of those things that are in destiny with us, in choice with us, that bring us to the true energy of what a high would be, which would be love. And I think that this is even more rare since, of course, we had 2 new moons, one being a solar eclipse, that were in Cancer prior to this. So this is not just your typical cycle of a new moon in Cancer into a new moon in Leo. This is a double new moon in Cancer that followed for 60 days of a lunation cycle that had to deal with the moon's energy. We are now in the sun's home. We are now in the sun's energy. And it doesn't matter what system you use, whether you're using tropical or whether you're using sidereal and Vedic systems, we are in Leo. We are in the actual aspect to Regulus that is the heart of the lion. And in tropical, of course, that has moved into Virgo at 0 degree. So this is about the service that we do to others, the service we do to ourselves, though, about aligning in our true heart space. While at the same token with Uranus now retrograde in Taurus, making sure that we understand that in order for us to advance our life, in order for us to make ourselves feel better, to feel more secure in the physical foundations and the feel-good energies, that there is risk, there is some sort of wild card here in order to do that. That this is not a time of complacency through normality, but a time of bold action off of uniqueness, the uniqueness of you, the uniqueness that you follow your own guidance in your heart, in your own mind's heart knowing. This is not a time to be convinced of what you should be, but a time to own who you are. That's within yourself. That's not defined by other people. That's not defined by organizations. That's not defined by any sort of political party either. This is you make your choice from your heart space, from your own fact finding, from your own degree of self. And this is probably one of the most important new moon messages that there will be, not only in 2020, but for a long time. Because this is the sun at home. This is the sun and the moon meeting with the nodes, that the nodes serve to the pleasure of the sun and the moon, that this truly aligns us with Mercury at the same time, the best friend to the sun and the moon, the pages to that rule Virgo and Gemini, that are in exact alignment with this North Node in Gemini. But with Jupiter retrograde, with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, and with Jupiter, of course, still retrograde, and unfortunately, on this new moon, we're not seeing Jupiter direct. We have to remember that this is not about us taking belief systems. This is not about us hoping for things to change without realizing that it's the change of the environment that we make within ourselves and our true heart space that is defined through our own unique self, that is defined through our own heart space, that is defined through our own identity as we make it, that is the most crucial and the most important. Let's not forget where you were 3 years ago right now, and how this is bringing up tons of energy of where you were at on August of 2017, and how that was a marker point in your life of change. This is the marker point now to where you understand that change, you learn from it, you grow from it, but you make the changes of making that environment and the focus that you understand what it is that you must do to make that change, and to have the courage to do it, to have the strength to do it, and that those that strive for the responsibility of that definition of self through the empowerment of one's heart, the empowerment of one's connected to the highest source, and the one's empowerment to the connected of the path that you know within yourself of truth, not the one that puts off chaos and acts like it doesn't, but the one that truly is embodied in stepping into the radical form of true passion that is only defined through yourself. The card for today is the Seven of Pentacles upright. This is a card that has to deal with what we put our energy into. We must know that there's a return that comes back. Now, we have all worked our butts off in this life, spiritually, physically, metaphysically, emotionally, and we're tired. But it's time for our rewards to come back. But we have to be willing to see the rewards of all the work that we've done over these last 3 years. And it's time for us to see the rewards be allowed to be shown. If we're not going to sit and stop and take a breath of fresh air today and appreciate the work we've all done in ourselves to find who we really are, then we won't see the return. Today is a day on this new moon to see and to appreciate the blessings that you have, the work that you've done, that the energy that you've put your first truth into. And that even if you haven't seen the return of that investment of the work that you do, of being in your heart and being in your true values, will only come back to you when you stop for one moment on this new moon, set the intention of what you've learned for the last 3 years, and know, but not expect, but just plainly know the truth that you are receiving your blessings right now. And it's whether or not you know how to see them. And it's about looking through the false paradigms that are being thrown at us every day That Neptune that's been in Yod forms to these Sun and Mercury aspects of last week gave you the truth, got you to almost a place to where maybe you felt like you were not on the right planet, that you were missing something deep, that the door had not opened to where you needed to open. And this new moon is here to tell you that it is opening. But it's an opening that you are the one that opens the door, and not one that is set from a bias that has been told of what door you should open, because you are the one that determines the kingdom that you open within yourself. I appreciate you all very much. We got spiritual dance music tonight, of course, for this new moon ceremony. You're not going to want to miss this one. And truly sending you my best, truly hoping that you subscribe to highvibe.tv, and I'll see you all tonight for spiritual dance music.